Here's a health to the company, and one to my lass. Let us drink and be merry, all out of one glass. Let us drink and be merry.
Hello friends, once again it's Baby Wiggs Broadcasting, and we are reviewing Ubisoft's brand new pirate game Skull and Bones. This game has been through quite the journey, and today we are going to go in depth to see if the wait was worth it. Set during the end of the 17th century, Skull and Bones is an open-world action-adventure game that focuses on naval combat and piracy elements. And in this review, we unfortunately won't be able to use our beloved method space, so for once, we're going to just break it down into pieces, so let's get straight to it. Let's just talk first about everything this game has been through, starting as a Black Flag DLC and going through all kinds of identity changes. A lot of us never thought this game would even release. I waited for so long, and after just so much bashing from people, I just started to think maybe Skull and Bones isn't coming. But then the trailer was released, and I was blessed enough to get into the Ubisoft Partner Program right after the release of AC Mirage, and we are still loving Prince of Persia, by the way. I've been happy ever since. Before people start saying, oh, Ubisoft simp and yada yada yada, let me just say I've enjoyed Ubisoft games since Splinter Cell, Rayman, For Honor, Assassin's Creed, Brawlhalla, and many more as well. We'll be talking about that all day, but let's just jump into this and discuss the biggest issue people have: walking around on land. Okay, see, I get it, right? It would be cool and it would be better if you added a little bit more walking around and like sword fighting and stuff, but let's be honest, it's a little unfair that the game has to compare it to Black Flag or Sea of Thieves because it's just not that type of game. It's supposed to be a pirate ship game, but we aren't going to nag all day on that subject. There's plenty of places you can walk on the map, and you can even own a pirate empire that involves producing and selling illegal alcohol and opium just to start. You can also upgrade these businesses as well as make production faster and so on and so forth. And at the time of writing, it says 11 days till season resets. So we'll see what happens. Because it also says all upgrades reset every season. That tells me seasons will be long and jam-packed. You can also take multiple missions at once from the helm. And this is how you get to earn the pieces of 8. Pretty much can be supplements for time saving, because with enough of these coins, you can buy fully upgraded guns and clothes as well as equipment and ships you couldn't get otherwise without a blueprint. You can also customize your pirate's clothes, and if you need to change your physical appearance, don't worry. You will not need to spend $5 like some games. No, you can do it 100% free at the clothing shop. There's also treasure maps you can pick up from plundering ships and hunt for the treasure using clues. And the game even makes it slightly easier for those who may have trouble solving the maps by letting you know when you've made it to an island that has buried treasure on it. I'll admit, more on-foot adventures and content would be cool, but it really doesn't need that to be a great game. There's just so many aspects of this game that improve on allowing you ownership of your very own pirate ship like no pirate game before ever has. From different ship types and builds to the many diverse weapon types for whatever playstyle you choose. For example, my main ship, Hell's Bells, is a Padawaking, and it specializes as a DPS ship with a perk called Detonate that deals so much percentage of extra explosion damage. My guns on my starboard, port, and stern of my ship have cannons called demi-cannons that act like shotguns that deal fire damage. They also do flooding damage as well, and paired with the correct ship, these are deadly cannons. I also have a bombarder on the front of the bow of the ship, and it behaves like a mini mortar. In the middle of my ship is my actual mortar, and it does devastating damage to NPCs and players alike. There's just so many different playstyles, and I'm really enjoying it a lot. I can't wait to unlock more ships down the line. But now, let's delve more into ship combat. Ship combat in Skull and Bones is extremely diverse, and I love how starting from a glorified raft to upgrading to a badass warship feels like you're really building a true pirate empire and building your infamy along the way. All the different ships in Skull and Bones are meant for different playstyles, and you have ships that are better at tanking damage, ships that are better at playing the healer and the support role. But I personally like the Padawaking for its size and strengths when you're surrounded by danger, but the brig technically is better at everything except storage space. One thing that's really cool too is all the different types of damage and different parts of a ship that you can damage. For example, like I said earlier, there's flooding damage that causes players and NPCs to slowly sink and slowly lose health over time. Explosive damage that just obliterates health bars. And there's fire damage, which should be self-explanatory, and a few others as well. Cool thing too is, with players and NPCs, you can tear sails and break masts with the right weapons, and that stops ships in their tracks. Now, you can repair a lot of the health on the spot, but where the real strategy and skill comes from is dealing with the long cooldown on repairing and still surviving the onslaught. If enough damage is dealt to you or other players, you or another player can throw firebombs or shoot muskets at each other to restart their repair cooldown, which makes it even harder to win a fight. You can even board other players and steal cargo how you would an NPC ship. It's really cool features in the naval combat, and yet another thing that Ubisoft improved on from Black Flag. I'm really only scratching the surface here, or I'd be talking about combat for the next 3 days, and this review would never see the light of day. Now we are moving on to the story and the missions available in the game. So I may have done this to myself because I have a serious issue over grinding games that I enjoy, especially when they allow you to skip quests and just grind resources. And in Skull and Bones, my thing was pushing upgrades ASAP. It definitely seems like I'm farther than the game expected because I'm not even done with Skurlock's quests, and ranking up to Kingpin gave me a letter that's a little suspicious, but nonetheless, we like Skurlock. There's like a lot to do in Skull and Bones, from bounties to special jobs on the job board to the Helm missions and Kingpin Pirate Empire businesses, Kingpin quest lines like the ones from Skurlock, world events like treasure fleets, sea monsters, rumors in-game of ghost ships, PvP events like the Cutthroat missions, and all sorts of vendor side quests to gain valuable resources to save you the trips across the ocean. Now, as far as story goes, it seems very light and more about you building your empire. To be fair, Sea of Thieves had the same issue in the beginning, and in the first 3 months, it got its first story update. So I think it's just a matter of time before we see a lot of real extra playable content. Ubisoft has released a roadmap for the first year, and it looks awesome. Maybe we'll get on foot or land combat. One can hope. I see a lot of people upset about microtransactions in this game, but one thing you should know is it's kind of like Destiny 2, where you can spend your in-game money instead of USD or real money to buy cosmetics. I personally think that's a W, because if you play and grind, you can get the same things little Timmy's mom bought with her credit card just by playing. Ubisoft is also clearly doubling down on drops and extra items in-game, and I think that's super cool considering some pirate games have the same drops for months that are only different in color scheme. This game is also 100% more fun with friends, just like most good live service games. I hope eventually people will give it a shot for what it is and see that it's really not a bad game. Now is the moment you didn't expect, where I actually criticize some things. I do think a little more on-foot activities like sword fighting and boarding ships physically would be insane, and it would be a great step in the right direction to get more people on board on this game. This is something I was thinking about too, and I was talking about it with friends. What if your pirate captain boards the enemy's ship with the crew? Hell, it could even be a cutscene, I don't care. But it could pit you against the enemy captain in a For Honor style combat, albeit with some modern changes, maybe make it more complex or something. I don't know. All I know is that it would be huge. Plus, with that first year's roadmap, how cool would it be to fight those legendary pirate kingpins in hand-to-hand combat or with sword fighting? Skull and Bones is amazing as is, but I think everyone would agree that this route could open up a lot of possibilities. That being said, I'm absolutely obsessed with the game, and I cannot put it down for anything else right now. It's honestly making me want to just focus on content on this game on stream, even though I'm in the middle of a DLC for Odyssey. God, there's so many Assassin's Creeds. I love them. Anyways, let's get going on my rating for different segments of Skull and Bones. As far as how the game plays and how smooth it was for me, not only in the beta, but also early access, as well as features like we talked about with like ship ownership and how you can have different weapons and customization and all that, I just really want to applaud Skull and Bones and Ubisoft. It's a really fun time with friends or alone, and for that segment of the game alone, I'm going to give it a solid 9. That's just my opinion personally, and I'm excited for the future. But as far as the story, I'd rate it like maybe an 8, more like a 7.5, really. It's super fun, and it seems like there's a lot of depth to it, but I would just like to see more of the world and its characters. We're just not seeing that right now. The future looks super bright for this game, though, and everyone I'm playing with is loving it, and I will definitely be sinking my enemies and becoming a true pirate kingpin for quite a while. This game has my attention for sure. And if any of you guys play, add me on Ubisoft, and let's run some Skull and Bones together. If you like this video, tell me what you think of it in the comments below, and consider subscribing. I really appreciate you guys for making it this far, and I just want to say I hope you're having a great day, and like I said, I hope you really enjoyed the video. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys again soon with a Baby Wiggs Broadcasting review.
Here's a health to the company.